Ngamihi o te wā. In today's news, the Prime Minister maintains that papers released today prove the government turned Solid Energy down for a capital loan of $1 billion. Doubts arose during the testimony given to Parliament's Commerce Committee by the company's former chair and CEO yesterday.
They came with the proposal, but in the end the paperwork speaks for itself.
Canterbury health officials are threatening legal action if the Earthquake Commission doesn't address asbestos concerns in quake-related repairs. The EQC estimates that 43,000 affected homes contain asbestos, and about 10% of those have ceilings which will be encased with plasterboard instead of being removed. The DHB wants the Commission to set up a public register on the practice, since the information isn't in LIM reports. The government suggests better irrigation will help revive our parched paddocks. Primary Industries Minister Nathan Guy today declared the entire North Island a drought zone, but says the country generally does get enough rain.
Here in the Manawatu, there's about 1 metre of rain a year, and in other parts there is more, but we don't capture it and we don't store it appropriately.
Adventure tourism audits are being seen as a step in the right direction. The government has announced operators will be reviewed every 3 years, and if they fail to meet all the checks, they will be forced to close until they comply. The Auckland Council is thinking about introducing the living wage for its workers. That's $18.40 per hour nationally and nearly $6 more for Auckland. Councillor Kathy Casey says 200 London businesses have adopted the standard since it was introduced there 7 years ago.
That's part of the investigation. There's been no negative aspects. It's about setting an example and saying that we care for our employees.
The 5 millionth Census 2013 form will have been collected today. Nearly 1.9 million web forms have been completed, and people can still go online to complete their forms. Collectors will continue to go door to door until Sunday. The Electoral Commission is about to start a 4-month initiative explaining options available to Maori voters. More voters on the Maori roll mean more Maori seats in Parliament and fewer general electorate seats. You may no longer be able to contact your community police station as the support staff who run the stations are being moved to centralized locations or dropped altogether. Suburban police stations are bearing the brunt of a tight police budget, and the president of the Police Association says smaller communities will feel the cutbacks.
Suburban stations are unable to provide the same level of service to the public as they were, and that means that they are closed most of the time.
Overseas, the Palestinian president has met Russian President Vladimir Putin and Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev overnight in Moscow. Mahmoud Abbas discussed the tension flaring in parts of the Middle East and improving bilateral cooperation. He also thanked Russia for its support of the Palestinian statehood bid to the UN. And in Israel, there's skepticism over whether President Barack Obama's visit next week will significantly progress Middle East peace talks. The two countries are among the world's closest allies, but Obama and Netanyahu have disagreed repeatedly on how to deal with Iran's controversial nuclear program and Jewish housing on land claimed by Palestinians. And China is welcoming a new president. Xi Jinping has big issues on his plate, such as rising civilian resistance against government corruption and a growing middle class wanting more financial freedom. Well, 1.3 billion Chinese have a new leader, and of course, so do 1.2 billion Catholics. Leaders of world religions have congratulated Pope Francis I, looking forward to renewing ties with the Catholic Church. Pope Francis celebrated his first Mass as Pontiff in the Sistine Chapel with the cardinals who elected him. His papal inauguration is next Tuesday, and New Zealand will be represented by Minister Chris Finlayson. And Kiwis are being asked to join the country's 500,000 Catholics in praying for Pope Francis this weekend. Archbishop of Wellington, John Dew, invites Christians to reflect on the prayer of St. Francis, who sought to be a channel of peace, hope and love.
If people could pick up something of that and apply it in our own lives, it's a nice little challenge for us.
Well, that's today's news. Ka nuinga karere mātua mai te whare kōrero o Rhema Broadcasting.